Have you ever wondered if there are two completely different versions of you living inside? Some days you're incredibly disciplined. You wake up early without an alarm. Your focus is sharp. Everything flows. Clean, efficient, almost effortless. But then, the very next day, everything flips. You start procrastinating. Tasks keep getting pushed back. Motivation disappears, replaced by this strange hesitation. And it doesn't feel like simple laziness. It feels like you've been switched into a different mode, like you've become a different person. The most frustrating part is this. You know you can do better, but you don't understand why you're not doing it. If you've ever felt this way, comment same. The problem might not be about whether you're hardworking or lazy, but about how you see yourself. If you believe you're a lazy person, you'll naturally avoid difficult tasks. You procrastinate, not because you can't do it, but because in your mind, you've already boxed yourself into that identity. On the other hand, if you believe you're disciplined, you'll find a way to get things done. Even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, you still do it. Not because you're always motivated, but because you think, that's who I am. And here's the key point. It's still you, no one else. Same situation, same work, but completely different outcomes. All because of one small thing, yet incredibly powerful. Identity, the way you define yourself. And once your identity changes, everything that follows will change with it. If this hits home, comment 1. And here's something most people never truly realize. You don't fail because you lack effort. You're not necessarily lacking discipline either. The truth is, you're trying to act in a way that doesn't match the person you believe you are. You want to work hard, but deep down you're thinking, that's not who I am. You want to change, but your old identity keeps pulling you back. And so, all your efforts feel scattered. There's nothing wrong with you. You're simply living in conflict with the image you've assigned to yourself. You've probably told yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up early. It sounds determined, clear, decisive, but deep down, there's another voice whispering, that's not the kind of person I am. And that thought quietly decides the outcome before you even act. The next morning, when the alarm goes off, the real battle begins. But you're not just fighting sleep, not just the comfort of your bed or the feeling of fatigue. You're fighting your own identity. One side is your desire to change. The other is a belief about yourself that's been there for a long time. And in that battle, identity almost always wins. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired to keep everything consistent with who you believe you are. So no matter how many times you try, if your identity doesn't change, the results will keep repeating. If you truly want to change your life, don't start by doing more. Don't force yourself to be more disciplined every day. Start from a deeper place, your identity, because actions are just the external expression. Identity is what determines whether you can sustain them or not. Most people say, I'll wake up early starting tomorrow. It sounds right, but in reality, it's just a short-term goal. This approach forces you to push yourself every day. Every morning becomes a battle, and the moment you feel a little tired, you fall back. But when you change the way you say it, it's no longer I will, it becomes I am someone who wakes up early. Everything starts to shift. You're no longer trying to do it. You're acting as a natural extension of who you are. And when your identity changes, your actions will follow automatically. Let's look at a very small example, but one that makes everything clear. One person thinks, "I'm trying to work out." It sounds positive, but deep down they still see it as a temporary effort, something they can do or not do. So when they're tired, when they're busy, it's easy to quit because skipping a workout doesn't make them feel like they've done anything wrong. But another person thinks, "I'm someone who works out." Now everything changes. Working out is no longer a choice. It becomes part of who they are. And if they skip, it's not just, "I was lazy today." It feels like going against themselves. That's the real difference. Not in how hard you try, but in how you define who you are. Start looking at your actions in a completely different way. Not as success or failure, but as votes for the person you want to become. Every time you wake up early, that's one vote. Every time you get up and work out, that's another vote. Every time you sit down to study, even just a little, that's one more vote. Each small action is quietly building a new identity for you. The problem is, most people quit too early. They think they need to be perfect from the start. They need to get everything right. They can't make mistakes. But that's a trap. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to repeat long enough, because identity isn't built from one big effort, but from hundreds, thousands of proofs. Each vote might feel small, insignificant in that moment, but over time, they compound. And at some point, you're no longer trying to become that person. You simply are. And then there comes a point when the change is no longer in your external actions. It happens in the way you question yourself each day. You no longer hesitate, "Should I do this today?" You're not weighing whether to act or not. You're not battling your momentary feelings anymore. Instead, you start asking a completely different question. What would someone like me do in this situation? It sounds simple, but this is the real shift. Because once your identity is strong enough, your decisions no longer depend on motivation. You don't act because you feel motivated. You act because that's who you are. And when the question changes, the answer becomes clearer than ever. No forcing, no inner conflict. You simply live in alignment with yourself. There's something you need to face directly. You're not stuck because you lack motivation, not because you're not good enough, and not because you haven't tried. You're stuck because you're still holding on to an old identity. A version of yourself from the past is quietly controlling how you think, how you choose, how you act. But the truth is, you're not that person anymore. The past may have happened, but it doesn't get to decide who you are right now. What truly defines you is not what you've done before. It's what you repeat every day. The small actions, the seemingly ordinary choices. Those are the things that are shaping who you become. And if you can change what you repeat, you can change who you are. Tomorrow, when the alarm goes off, pause for a moment. Don't ask like you always do. Do I feel like getting up? Because that question will always depend on your emotions, and emotions change every day. Instead, ask a different question, deeper, clearer. Who am I? Once you can answer that, you won't need motivation anymore. You just need to act in alignment with the person you've chosen to become. No hesitation, no procrastination, no more negotiating with your old self. Just simply living true to your new identity. Comment one identity you choose. I am someone who. In the next video, you'll learn how to change faster every day. Stay with me until the end of this journey. There are many insights ahead. Thank you for being here and choosing to change.